Hey, what's up? Kip Ioane here from the Kas Ioane Foundation. Obviously, as Kas Ioane's oldest son, I have 1,000 stories I can share about the impact my dad's had on me in my life. But I wanted to do one for our September story drive, and I'll submit it like everyone else we hope is doing to our campaign URL and website, and pair with it a little small donation to kickstart our September fundraising campaign via stories of the impact Dad had, other educators and mentors have had in your life. And hopefully, like we want to lean into stories are worth sharing. Stories are the way to connect people to causes, connect people to one another. So my story, I want to say, and if anyone from 406 Sports, the Billings Gazette, is watching this and you have access to the archives and the history of Billings Skyview Falcon basketball, go back, I think it's the 1992-93 season. And so this is a Skyview Falcons team that had Guy Atkins, Jason Yoakams, DJ Becker, Jeff Glover, a bunch of those guys. And it was one of the years that, one of the most successful years of my dad's campaign as a Skyview Falcon. But I remember they were playing Bozeman. I'm pretty sure it was Bozeman in the Skyview gym. So I would have been a 7th grader maybe at that time, 6th grade, 7th grade. And then Bozeman was ranked really high. I think Coach Mike Cole was the name of the Bozeman coach from back then. But they brought in a great team to Skyview. And Skyview, up to that point, had not been very good at basketball. And I remember the game was really close, competitive battle. I don't think it was overtime, but it was down to the wire. Bozeman still won. So obviously I was devastated. I lived and breathed blue and silver. But I went down after the game to my dad's coaching office. And I figured he'd be upset, mad, because they'd come so close to having such a big win. But my dad was in there with his staff. And it was Jim Forseth, probably Todd Birch was in there. Jeff Kingman maybe at this time was in there. And I know, and he was crying. And my dad was never afraid to show emotions, but I hadn't seen him like this after an athletic contest. And he was crying. And I remember my mom maybe asked, what's going on? Something happened. And he said, no, I'm just so damn proud of our kids for the fight they gave, for the battle they just gave, because that team is really good. And we've never been able to be toe-to-toe with a team like that. And we were. And even though we didn't win, I'm so proud of them for believing in themselves the way we believe in them. And I remember this vividly, how he said how proud he was. And this was after a loss. And that stuck with me, not because of my dad was embracing that, embracing losing, but he was recognizing it as not just a teacher, but a milestone that even in defeat, you can see growth. That even in defeat, you can see unity and camaraderie and a family growing towards something eventually down the line. And that stuck with me. And I've needed it throughout my coaching career in the face of losses or disappointments, but also being able to see young men and athletes that I was in charge of as a head coach in college and now in high school, giving everything. And that's the challenge that I think Pops was always teaching Kane and I, is athletics, it's kind of like life, means you give everything, even in the face of the lack of guarantee that giving everything will get you what you want. Sometimes you can give it all and still not get what you want. So that's my story of impact of my dad on me as a coach going forward. Obviously, I was his son at the time, but we're excited for more impactful stories like this from you to share with the Kas Ioane Foundation.